Hello, hello. Are we online? I think we are up and running. Let's see. Oh, it looks like it. All right, let's do a little test here. Hello, welcome. Hello, hello. Hi, welcome to everybody who's tuning in. For anybody watching at a later date, here we go. Live geeking. Excellent. Looks good. Just gonna make sure the sound is okay, and then we can get started. Can I hear myself back? Yeah, I can hear myself back. Okay, perfect. It's all good. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to anybody who's tuning in or watching at a later date. And thanks for checking out the second part of the ZombieCraft full game walkthrough. Today, is it definitely? It's me and Lava? Yeah, just taking a hot bath. So today I'm going to be talking about all of the redstone this time. So the last time I went to a lot of effort to not look at the redstone at all. And now this is going to be the idea is that if you ever want a mini game, make a mini game yourself or make a dungeon game yourself or whatever, because there's not really any tutorials on how to make game components. Really, people will teach you, RS NOR latches and stuff on Reddit and really complicated stuff, but there's not really many. Oh, here's some great game tools that you can make. So these are for this stream, I suppose, is for anybody who wants to learn how to make redstone for games, basically. I apologize if the frame rate is bad. It's been kind of a bit rough today. I was going to do this with shaders on, and then it was even worse quality, so I kind of removed it. But this is, firstly, this is my test world where I build pretty much everything that I come up with, from mob farms to trial chambers to my decorated base. This is Llamarama over there. And then over here, God, the frame rate's really bad, actually, isn't it? It's quite jittery. Anyway, it probably doesn't help that I'm running two instances of Minecraft as well, because I didn't want to toggle between worlds, so I can just Alt and Tab between two worlds. And I'm just going to double check that that actually changes on screen. Oh, it doesn't. That is good to know. So do I have to do this? I do. Okay, so if I want to change, I have to actually change this in OBS. That's good to know. And also just perfect timing as well. Murphy's Law, the day that I had planned, where I had off and everybody's out of the house to do a couple of hours of streaming. I feel like I'm catching a cold. So, of course, Murphy's Law on that when I finally get the chance, I'm not feeling great. So, apologies for any throat clears or anything that I do directly into the mic. And yeah, I suppose we'll just jump right into it. We can start in the game to actually break it down. Boom, 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 boom. I need to remember to change this over. There we go, great. And I'm just going to get rid of the game sounds here because we don't actually need to listen to zombies. And I'll just bring this all the way down here. And we can start with the very first thing, which is the item input. The thing that kind of dictates the whole class system and everything. So in case you didn't watch the first part of the video, ZombieCraft is kind of based on one of the Call of Duty games, the zombie mode. And you've got endless waves of zombies that come out at you, and you basically have to survive as long as possible. Now, when you get started in any given round, before you get started, there are items dispensed out to you, and those items are dependent on the cards that you input. So I'll just put one of those in so we can see right now. Here's a player card and a tank 2 card, just for as an example. And I'm just going to grab a sword or something just to... Oh, the zombies are gone. Okay, it doesn't matter. And I'll leave... get into creative mode here as well, so even if there are zombies, there's no interruptions. So both versions of this I'm going to be playing locally, by the way. I'm not going to be playing on the server where it's actually built in survival for this. Yeah, so let's put this... turn the game on first. The game is on. I don't know if this matters, so I'm just going to turn it off. We don't need to worry about Yeah, sorry, ignore all the sounds. So I'm just going to turn that back on here, and we can see basically I'm going to put a book in here. It's going to drop down to this row of hoppers down below here, and then it's going to go into this wacky machine here that I'm incredibly proud of. I really, really, really love this device. It's to be honest, it wouldn't have been possible until I discovered. I can probably find the Discord message because I was like writing in all caps about it. I think the day that I discovered that you could move composters with fill in it, because in Java Minecraft, like in Bedrock, you can move stuff with containers in it, which just has so many possibilities for being able to like feed random numbers and stuff. Like it adds so many opportunities to do fun and cool stuff. Whereas you can't push a dropper or you can't push a hopper or whatever with Java. But then I discovered that you can push composters, which basically allows you to push a number. So if this is filled up to 2, you can push the number 2. You know what I mean? This is filled to 3, so you can push the number 3 to a comparator, which is really cool. So this device, you can see that there's different classes and stuff laid out here. So this is the Soldier 2 and Soldier 3 and Support 3 as well. And basically these will turn off. Firstly, they'll dispense an item. So if the required book, which you've just entered in here, so just say I put in my book, we watch that, we watch those hoppers come along here. Then it comes down and it gets fed into basic item filters right here. Nothing crazy about it. So these are just basic item filters. And if the item is detected, there's one item in here and no items in here. So if you play, this is how I got over people playing multiple of the same card and getting stackable bonuses. You're not supposed to have stackable bonuses. You can only play one class per player. So basically if it gets turned on once, it cannot be turned on a second time. And then we're using quasi on the observers, quasi connectivity to target the airspace to undo it when the game resets. So any red wire that you see is always the game power. So the red line goes pretty much everywhere. Any device that needs to do something when the game turns on or when the game turns off will be powered by the red line. So anywhere where you see that, that's what's happening here. So down here, we'll just look at one component of it, one section. So what's happening right here is there is a etho hopper clock, and that is counting basically each revolution of when the beacons and other bonuses and stuff should be powered. So when you put this in, you basically enable this. It's switched off otherwise, so there's no signal allowed to get through here. It's subtracted enough. You can see here, if we take a look, we'll just watch it for a couple of seconds. It won't be very interesting, but we'll just take a look. See, it never turns off. There's a 4-tick delay on this repeater, so even when that changed to 0 for a split second, it didn't turn on for a split second. And this pink line here, I think, is the strength beacon. So basically, if you put in a book here, this comparator would be moved upwards because it's in the yes position. This comparator is giving a signal to the composter. I think I misspoke there and said composter or comparator instead of composter. This will give this power and this will subtract from here. So when this gets to 1, or actually I think there's like 3 in that barrel, so this would be 0, this would be 0, and that means the beacon is no longer turned off. So let's take a look. What does this power do? Well, it blocks off the beacon. So when it's retracted, as in when the power is turned off, as in you've subtracted some from it. So let's actually just do that over here. So I'm going to put in, we'll just look at the tank one since I already have it. And now when I go down, we're going to look for tank 2. Tank 2. And when we go down here now, oh, there it goes. It just got fed in. We literally watched it happen there. And what that did was it moved the observer up, and the observer powered the tank dropper, and that put the tank items, which we'll talk about in just a second, into this row of hoppers right here, and it gets passed up to the player. And also this detects if it gets passed up to the player. I want you to also give a few food items as well. So you get food items and a tank item for each thing dispensed. So for every book that you enter in, you get about 4 or 5 random items back. Some have more, which we'll talk about. It gets slightly complicated. That's what the underwires are. There are special cases where you should get more, like a medic 3 and stuff like that. But we can see here now, let's take a look at the tank ones. So what we're going to see, now that we have a subtraction coming from here, right, that this will actually reach 0 and stay at 0 for a while. And then when we take a look in the top left of the, or on the left hand side of the screen, I should have hopefully my beacon buff display thing on. So yes, ta-da, you can see now that I have 15 seconds of resistance 1. And that's going to stay on for as long as the signal is being subtracted more than, here we go. So it's strong enough to get to here now. Is it strong enough to get to here? So this is subtracting, I guess, maybe 3 or 2. It's subtracting 2, you can see there on the right hand side. So when this gets to 3, you'll have enough signal here and your defense will turn off. Here we go. So last 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, and it turns off. And that is how the power-up system works from a first kind of run here. Now, you would put in 1 defensive character. You could put in 1 strength character, 1 medic character, 1 support character, and you would all get different buffs. Now, some buffs, obviously, like the regen buff, are more OP than others, so they're on a longer timer. The defense buff, I think the speed buff happens the fastest because, like, movement speed is just, it's nice, it'll save you, but it's definitely not essential. Whereas regen is, like, game-changing. So they're on slower timers, so you can customize the length of each timer, and all I've done there to fit these in is just use an extra comparator there, but it doesn't really make much odds. And then in each of these here, there are different item loadouts as well. So let's take a look at that. So in each of these things here, if you're just playing a player card, your player card can give you, that's actually a very good roll. 19 hits on an iron sword is very good. It might just give you food. It might give you a gold sword. I've got a whole spreadsheet of different item combinations and stuff of what should go into each one. Support is what? It doesn't really matter. Then there's bonus ones. There's regens and so on and so forth. So if you put in a regen, you get bonus totems of undying and stuff like that. If we take a look at, say, for example, the speed bonus, there's no items because you just get the speed. All it does is do the comparator, and even though it powers the dropper, because I didn't know, I hadn't decided on it while I was building, I was going to leave it flexible for tweaks to be made, and that'll give you an item. If I were to put items in there, it would give you an item and then more food when you play speed book and so on and so forth. So I'm actually going to hop over to creative so we can look at that kind of outside of the mess and look at one module of it as well. I'm just going to double check that we're actually definitely... Oh, the game timer hasn't reset. I was like, what is that sound? Okay, so I gotta turn the game off. I don't think it's ever been on for this long. It's only because I'm talking in creative. Oh, God. Okay, just gonna break. There we go. Shouldn't have done that, but whatever. Game needs to just be off. So that's the game timer. I'll actually take a look at that in a second. Yeah, it's going to keep doing that bell until the prizes empty out. So we'll just try to ignore that. I'll just talk over it. So here is a single module. It didn't change much from its original design. So like I said, it's just hopper input, regular item filter. It's all standard, nothing weird there. When the block gets powered, it pushes the one item that's in each dropper to the thing. So let's actually see what's in here. Let's take a medic level 1 and we'll put one in there. And you can see that that powered that, and it went into the composter to subtract the signal, and then you can see after a couple of seconds this will get subtracted. I think the clock is going the other way. That's bad timing. But yeah, basically, if you have items in here, the beacon will turn on. If you do not have items in there, the beacon will not turn on. And then if you add more... Why is that stuck? Oh, there we go. There it is. Yeah, so basically, yeah, you can see there, this is on for 1 second, so you'd get like 20 seconds of whatever boost it was for this. And then I just kind of multiplied that out by 4 for each of the 4 different beacons. So even though it looks like this huge, big, complicated mess, it's just one sliver of one module that's gone up. And then the only difference from the actual finished design of it is that it also triggers an item to be sent out as well. Yeah, which you can see in this version here. So on top of, excuse me, on top of the... Sorry, I had to have a little choke there. On top of the composter getting pushed into the way, you can see here that I've included the row of beacons to be included as well. And now you might be wondering, what's this extra wool for and everything? Well, I had decided that, for example, the medic should receive the previous buffs that other medics received. So here's Medic 1, right? And you actually don't get the regen bonus with Medic 1. I think you got just extra food or a splash potion of healing or something like that, right? So what this is doing right here is, just say you got Medic 2, right? So you put in the Medic 2 book, and this block here, boom, gets a signal from this observer here, right? As it would. This repeater picks it up and sends it back so that you also get the Medic 1 buff as well, the Medic 1 item that's in here, so that'd be extra food in this case. So you're playing Medic 1, you're getting extra food and a health potion, for example, as you're playing, and then you get an upgrade, and you get Medic 2 for this. Well, you still get that original item when it comes to Medic. So this would come up here, the Medic 2 would get powered, and then it would come in here. And then what happens if you get Medic 3? Well, the same thing, it would pop up here. Now, there were like totems of undying and stuff like that. These are just test items to make sure the redstone worked. So it would pop up here. This would come out here, power the Medic 2 as well, so that you get it, right? So you can see the power would go this way, this way, this way, right? And then at the same time, power would come out and power the redstone, or power the Medic 1 for you as well. So if you got Medic 3, it also gives you 2 and 1 as well. And then down below, I've just done the exact same thing with this magenta wool. And that will power if you use support. Yeah, if you're using support, you get the bonuses of the previous support classes. So with support, you get like speed boost at level 1, defense boost at level 2, and attack boost at level 3. And I didn't want you to lose the speed and defense as you level up, right? Because that kind of makes it a little bit worse instead of an upgrade. So I figured out a way to make it so that if you get the support 3, it comes down here to support 2 and powers that, comes down here to support 1 and powers that as well, so that you get a mix of different bonuses. So you're a proper support character. When you play support, you get the support of 3 different beacon effects. The idea was as well, one of my kind of like project outlines was to make support and medic classes the most desirable classes, like to make the game virtually impossible or significantly more difficult if somebody wasn't playing support or medic, because I feel like they're always, especially in team games, they don't really pull it off very well. And that is your character selection. That's how all of the redstone there works basically. Like I said, you put in your book of choice, whatever class that you've decided to put in, and then your book will come back to you. We can take a look at that on the actual thing. There is there's a beacon value that gets subtracted basically from it, so that if any of these composters are up, the signal is strong enough to get through whatever composter value you've subtracted from it. And then it can turn off again, and then you get certain items and turned on and off and everything like that. And then the reset line is just this red line coming along here. So if the observers detect that the power was reset, either on or off, because they're observers, they'll see on or off. So if they see that, you'll see that it's been reset. So let's actually just put a book in so we can see the reset, I suppose. This is support level 3. Let's put one of those in, and then we'll just go down the way and we'll find I need a few. Oh yeah, that's not high enough. Yeah, medic level 3, and then we'll put a medic level 3 in so we can see that go as well. There we go. Great. So you saw the items go down. There's some more bits and pieces triggered here as well. And yeah, here's because I put in a support level 3, you can see that support level 3 is powered, support level 2 and 3 is powered, and then we should see support level 1, 2, and 3 is powered. So this is actually support level 1, but because you get the same power up, blah, 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 blah. And then when we hit this line right here, we'll see all of these observers drop down so that the game has reset and it's ready for the next round. And that's another crucial thing that I would highly recommend to anybody who's going to be making these, that your goal should be automatic resetting. You don't want to ever have to go in and I'll show you the big downfall of what I think this game was. It was having to refill the shops, something that I'll definitely fix for version 3 of the game. If you're wondering version 3, well, where's version 2? Version 1, I mean. Version 1 was a tiny little map that I made a couple of years ago, and it was very much the placeholder for, or the template for what this game, I suppose, would eventually become. But yeah, this is one of those components right down here by itself. If you want to see it with just the beacon working and everything, I suppose, yeah, you can pause the video or whatever, or you can just ask me for the redstone. It's absolutely no problem. And then I suppose, yeah, let's hop over back to survival and see what the next component was, I guess. I'm just going to check the stream and make sure that, yeah. Oh, NASA's on. Hello. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm not paying very much. I'm trying to stay so focused. I'm not even sure who's online. Let's see. Okay, cool. What is next? Yes, leveling up. So enter 20 XP points to unlock. God dang it! I knew it. Knew it. I will be back in 4 minutes. Somebody's at the door. All right. Okay, should have caught my breath before I unmuted the microphone. Ran up and down the stairs. So, next component is the shop. So you can see here it says enter 20 XP points to unlock a class. Pay to win books can also be leveled up. Enter 4 matching. Pay to win books are 1 diamond to unlock a one-time perk, and enter 4 books of the same class and level to level up. Throw payment into water. Enter correct amount only. So, let's just grab a stack of experience points. What are experience points? They are renamed sunflowers just because, oh my god, that zombie scared me. Okay, so the shop basically works by it's just an item filter. Let's not exaggerate the complexity here of what it is. I'm just going to chuck these in 20, and we can see here you throw them into the water stream, and it's pretty slow because it has to count out the 20 items, and then it kind of resets itself, and then it sends out an item. I could have made it a lot faster, but it was kind of like a hodgepodge of like 3 different ideas. I've also realized, like, looking back on it, I'm like, why didn't I put a block there? Why is it like 3 comparators and stuff like that? But yeah, this is all kind of achieved in the one shop here. As you can see, this is the experience counter, and it uses a hopper clock to dispense 20 items if it passes the 20 item filter, and then it leaves 20 items missing from the filter so that the next thing costs 20 items, and then it shoots it out into the barrel. So let's see it here. So yeah, I got 1 tank. I put in 20 experience points that my character unlocked, and I got 1 tank book. Well, let's say we've got 4 tank books now. So we've just unlocked 4 tank books. We've been saving up. We've won 80 experience points, and just by pure chance, we got 4 tank books. You would come over here then and throw your 4 tanks in here. Oh, I didn't throw them. They didn't leave my hand. Let's do Control and Q. There we go. Oh, sorry. I've got whatever this mod is, the tool, and it changes the block states when you right click on things. So I'm just going to do this with an item in my hand. And look, ta-da, you can see I put in 4 tank 1 books and got out a tank 2 book. So it's not super complicated at all. What's going on over here is there is an item filter, literally just an item filter, same as we saw before for the shops, except it has a much longer delay to allow items to flow out of it. So once enough speed bonuses, for example, go in here, it'll detect it, it'll fill up here, and then it'll empty for this amount of time, which will allow more books, which is actually 4 books. So if we were to put the 4 speed books in, you'd see it go up to 6. Then this would change to 1. It would power the output, which would go into here, and then it gets pulled out of the barrels and back into the hopper and sent over to the player. And this resets itself. Yeah, so with these, so you can level up. I figured that with the resistance bonus, speed bonus, and regen bonus, that the regens are obviously the best. The resistance is the thing that takes away your, or reduces the health loss, I suppose, the most, and then speed. So they went in tier of speed, resistance, regen. So you can put 4 speed books in here to unlock a resistance book. In my opinion, not really worth it, but I suppose if you've got a couple of speed books and you want a resistance book, you can do that. One that is worth it, I think, is to get the regen bonus for 4 resistance books, because you get the totem of undying as well. You're essentially paying for an extra life. These are 1 diamond. Like, look, when I set these 1 diamond things, this server was already like late game. There just had to be some sort of penalty. There had to be some cost. There had to be some price for the bonus books. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't just have people use them all the time. So they were one diamond a thing. It didn't. I think it worked as a sufficient incentive for people to not use them all the time, I guess, but you may not find the same effect on yours. Like realistically, like whenever I was playing with new players, I would just buy 3 books and throw them in. Because like, what's 3 diamonds when you're late game, you know? And then I think I've actually included it in the description of this. I forgot to credit RexxStone in the first stream. RexxStone made an absolutely incredible NM shop, I think it's called. It's on his channel, which I've linked in the description of this stream as well, so it'll be saved to the video. And I've made a couple of modifications for this game. I've made a couple of modifications of his shop, so I just wanted to throw a credit for that there as well. Like I've added some ones with like display lights and extra locks and stuff like that to kind of customize, to tweak his design to make it match up. But yeah, I was having issues with the one that I was using for ages and ages, so I replaced 2 or 3 of the shops with his design and then tweaked it to make it work. So this is his shop with something stripped out of it. It's his design is taller. I think I've removed the second item filter part on it actually when I think about it. So yeah, that's it. This is where you get your class. So this is where the 20 sunflowers go into. They get picked up by this. Whoa, where do they get picked up by? So they go in the water stream. They go in here. They get picked up by. Oh yeah. So they'll float over here. This is also the output. So if the player puts in anything that shouldn't go into the game, it'll just get fed back out to them again. Excuse me. So yeah, in here you can see there's 44. If that goes up to 64, it's a full stack. Then the hopper counter counts down for 20. I think this is actually bigger than RexxStone's design. I think his was only 3 wide. Maybe I've made it 4 wide for whatever. But anyway, yeah, the 20 would go in here, goes up to a full stack. It detects that the comparator is full. A 20 item hopper clock starts running. Yeah, 20 item hopper clock starts running, which releases 20 items from here again, but also it dispenses one of these books into this hopper chain, which goes down past all the shops where you can update your thing as well, and then it ends up back in your receiving barrel at the end. Yes, that's correct, NASA. I did remove the payout circuit, or the payout counter. Yes, thank you very much. Sorry, I'm about 90 seconds behind on the chat as well, so I'll reply to things totally out of sync. Sorry. Yeah, and that pays out your soldier, your medic, or whatever, and then you can get 4 medic level 1s. It's obviously random for a bit of RNG. So if you put in soldier, medics maybe down here. No, support. So medics, this is this one. Yeah. So if you put in 4 medic level 1s, here you go. That'll go up to 6. It'll count as a stack. It'll send one of these out, and you'll get a medic level 2, which basically means. So wait, if you need 20 experience to get 1, if you need 20 experience to get 1. So you'll need 80 experience to get a level 2, and then you need 4 times that. So you need 320 to get a full level 3 book. But like the difference is I've tried to accommodate for that. Actually, would you believe the original price was 50, and my buddy John said that that's insane. And you shouldn't. It should not be 50. But we'll talk about how you actually score points now as well. I made it much easier to score points than before. Let's see. What was I talking about? Sorry, I was like, what's 90 seconds is a lot. Oh yeah, the delay. Yeah, sorry. that's part of that NASA is my brain as well. I'm sure I could do it in 30 seconds if I was faster. um, but yeah, so we've talked about how to level up and how to buy classes and how to use the shop. Actually, I suppose let's take a look at it in proper creative here, where it was originally conceived. The shop is, so I built it in two different parts and then just kind of stretched it out. So this is the original proof of concept of it kind of finished. And again, if anybody kind of wants uh, the world or whatever, just let me know. I'm happy to. Oh, I forgot about this. This was a fun day. I was counting how many punches it takes to kill a zombie with your bare hands, because I was thinking that I would give players attack bonus 2, but no, you can punch a zombie in 3 punches with no what's that for? Yeah, you can kill a zombie with punches very way too easily. So I got rid of there's no attack boost too. But yeah, this is the redstone for the original shop here, as you can see. You put the item in, flows up to the top, gets picked up by an item filter if there's an appropriate one. If not, it falls down through here and goes back to the player and comes back to them. If it's correct, it gets picked up by one of the machines. It either gets picked up by a book filter here or by this is experience on the map. It's just diamonds for the survival thing. I wasn't gonna start making books in creative as well. There's no point in putting that effort in. And yeah, realistically, I should have put these into a dropper water stream thing for speed, but I was just, there was a lot to do. There's a lot of shortcuts made for my sanity's sake in this. If you're wondering why didn't you just choose the better option, laziness. The answer is always laziness. Um, Let's see. I don't think I knew your shops when I started making this, by the way. But if you want to, I will happily credit and use your designs in future NASA. And this is the actual finished one right here that you can see that would have eventually gone in. Um, yeah, enter 50 points per class it used to be. And yeah, this is the original design here now. I don't know what this is about. This isn't in the finished one. Yeah, I don't know what that was for. Um, excuse me. So yeah, and that is that's the shop, and that's how you level up and stuff like that. This is the end of the game over here. Exciting. What is the next thing? Oh yeah, the bamboo machine. So probably the thing I'm happy to take credit for maybe 50% of all of the button presses of my server mates who played this game in their lifetime. I'd say I made my server mates press more buttons than they have ever in their entire Minecraft careers to this point. Um, this was the original point system, by the way, that I actually got rid of. And it's based on like a 50-50 chance for certain things to happen. So it would like put a stackable or non-stackable item into here, and that was like it's a 50% or a 30. Blah, blah, blah. It's a 60-40% chance for something to happen, and then there's a geez, oh, just a 1 in 8 chance of this happening, and then a 1 in whatever chance of this happening, and so on and so forth, and then you get a prize and you come pick it up. I actually pulled two of my friends onto my Discord stream to demo this because it just didn't work how hoppers work. And I'm not even going to bother to explain it because anybody who watches this would just say, yeah, but that's not how hoppers work. And I'm aware that this was not working how hoppers work. It worked perfectly in creative. And then I'd get a message from somebody on Discord and they'd say, hey, we were playing a few rounds and I got this random item. And I'd be like, damn it, that's like, it's just not how hoppers work. So I had to change that design. That was a bit of a side tangent ramble because I got distracted looking for this guy. So like I said, I take a lot of credit for a lot of I'd say the majority of button presses my server mates have made are because of me. So when we take a look here, this is just a bamboo dispensing station. There's some light, or there should be some light up here so that it actually grows. So this version obviously isn't growing. But basically the bamboo would grow in here, and once it does, it fills up, and that just keeps a backlog of bamboo ready for the player to play. And when they push the button, you can see here, I'm actually just going to put it on this side so you can see it super easily. You push the button, you hear a ding, and you get your bamboo. If you push your button, and as soon as the button releases, you press it again, you won't get your signal. So you have to let the button pop out for like just a second and then press it to get a perfect little flow going on. I'm sure the timing of this button press is ingrained permanently in some people's brains because of the amount of times we pressed it. With the bamboo farm, if you place the redstone one layer lower, it will be faster. If you place the redstone one layer lower, where are we talking about here? Here? Oh, we can come back to that in a second anyway. I'll pop over to the actual game where we can see it. And this is dispensing station number 1. This stuff is here because this was a cheese spot. So I put this here so that you would take a little bit of damage. What was happening was people were climbing up here, and they were still able to push the button while they were here. So basically I made this so that you take damage if you stand up because you can't press the button while you're crouched. I can in creative. I wonder if that's just a creative thing. I can crouched in creative. Oh, well, I'm glad the lads didn't know that while we were running the game. Oh, yes, nice. Okay, sorry, I see what you mean. Yeah. Here's John, guest star, trapped in our dungeon, and maybe I won't show that on stream. I don't know. Yeah. So basically, you would come in here. This is kind of the main loop of the game, and hit your bamboo markers here. And as you saw in survival, or sorry, in the test world, it's the same thing. It's just full of bamboo from previous ones. I think it's so full that it's actually despawning on the mud. I think I saw there when we first started doing this, and it's really simple. It just does an item ding when it goes around to give the player some feedback. I tried to incorporate like sounds and lights and stuff so that it's really obvious when something is happening for players. And that's kind of like, this is the main gameplay loop. You get some items. There's zombies like popping out of here. So you then craft your items, running around. You're defending yourself. You're fighting whatever, and yeah, I think that's it. God, it's really hard to go up one stairs when you've got double jump one step there. The next up is the shops, and like I said, full credit to RexxStone for these. The only thing that I did were update some of the bits and pieces. Like there's a display light here. It'll lock before it's empty, I think, or the light will turn off right before it's empty or something. Like there's a couple of tweaks to it just to kind of customize it for the game a little bit, and messes it up a little. And yet that's basically it. So I'll just make sure that I link his design in the thing, and then just because it's all non-stackable items, I would just collect a shulker buffer. Collect items in a shulker and then keep a buffer of items going along here, and then you put in whatever it was for rotten flesh, which is the currency of the thing, and it would place it in here. Here's another bamboo station over here, and then shop number 2 is over. Whoa, shop number 2 is over here, and this is the weapon shop, and this is the armor shop. And the weapon shop is cheaper because it's mostly really bad golden swords. It's really kind of for an emergency. if you can't get to the crafting station, you haven't got time, you're kind of overrun, you can run over, throw some items in here, run down, do a lap, chase the zombies, run away, come back, and then when you get back to the thing, your item will be sitting in there, and you're able to defend yourself a bit. So I gave this shout out last time as well, but I'll just do it again because I think it's awesome as I'm flying around here. This area was designed by Latifer on the server, so I just want to give him another shout out here as well. I think it adds a lot to the place. It was literally all just stone brick before this, so I think he's done an incredible job. And yeah, that might be it for that is it actually for the shops. I'll let Rex talk about his own stuff in his own video and everything. The tweaks that I made aren't substantial enough for me to touch on it. But let's take a look at the zombie dispensing. So the really big thing I'd love to find. Actually, I'm going to spend 2 minutes trying to find a copy of the original world. I'm just going to mumble for 2 minutes here while I find. Where is this? I keep a list of interesting coordinates for things. I don't see it. I was hoping to find the original. I was trying to find the original version of my game here. No, I'm searching through. We're talking about Left 4 Dead, unfortunately. All right, cool. Never mind. I will just go back into here and over here. Let's see if we can find it actually, because it might be. I think it might be in the center of this world actually, because when I started working. Oh, here it is. Perfect. So this is basically the original design for this world, or sorry, for this game. You can see it's a lot smaller. Um, so this is how it all used to work, basically. My server mates might remember this actually. Again, another shout out to a buddy of mine, CMB, CraftMasterB. I'll link his channel as well. I think I already did, maybe. He actually designed the Blackstone area for this, which we won't see because this is just the skeleton of it. There were two spawners right next to each other, and I was like, I am making a game out of this. So for my server mates, I'm sure they might recognize this kind of skeleton. This was the entrance. You would walk in here and kind of fall down. And you drop in here, and there was a sealed door here, black stone door, and a payment thing here, and so on and so forth. And this was the total map size. Hey, thanks for tuning in, NASA. Good to hear from you, man. I'll give you a shout next time we're playing, so that you can hop on if you like, for sure. Would love to show it off to more and more people, obviously. Um, so yeah, this was it. Basically, the goal was to unlock all three beacons, I think, and this was the lab here. This was visible in here. I think it was all quartz and iron and stuff like that. And there was access to it. So, uh, oh yeah, I think if you just fell down here, you died. Like you couldn't get back up or something. I removed the stairs. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, this might seem familiar to some people. But the problem was with V1, and this is why I wanted to show it, was this was how the zombies got dispensed. And the issue was that if you got a pack spawn and you got four zombies who all compacted themselves together, you could get, and also, sorry, when a round reset, you could get like 14 zombies in the first slot, and then you would go to play the next round, and it would go, right, do the first release, and it's supposed to release 1 to 3, and it would go, 10 zombies down here, 10 zombies down here, and then you're playing the game, and then boom, next thing. See, this is what happens. They can resist a little bit, and then the guy at the end or whatever will change his mind, and they'll walk into the tube, and they'll go whoosh, and they'll all get taken away at once. And what happened was I wasn't able to control the rate of zombies being dispensed, so I made the very, because I don't really like minecarts. Sorry, I'm not experienced with working with minecarts, like not for like 10 years. The last time I did like a lot of minecart stuff was legit like 10 years ago. So I was kind of against using minecarts for this, but then I needed to have complete control over the zombies being dispensed into the game, and that's when I decided to go with rails. So I think right here, actually, I'm flying directly towards it. Yes, this was the original design, that they would fall into tubes and get stuck, and they'd resist the water streams, turn into drowns, not be able to be pushed by water anymore. The dispensing stations were like, oh yeah, it was trapdoors, and then they'd be, oh God, I think I had villagers in here, and they were attracted to the villagers, but they'd fall down, and it was so complicated. It was a mess. Then they'd get into the world, and they wouldn't change their aggro to the player. They would stay aggroed on the villager or whatever they saw initially, that they were initially attracted to. And then yes, I was messing around with trial chambers to get breeze rods, so I changed this to a trial spawner. But just imagine that this is a zombie spawner, and basically this is it. Launch yourself a minecart, pick up the zombie. Oh, that's not the. There you go. And then he gets launched into the thing and off into the game. So you push the button once, you get one zombie. You push the button twice, you get two zombies. You push the button 3 times, you get 3 zombies. So I had solved this problem that I was having of the zombies, of not having control over how many zombies are coming into the game. I'm so sorry about all the airs and all that blah blah blah. Every time anything pops up on my screen, I'm like, oh, is somebody writing to me? Does this require my attention? And then I just ramble off in my sentence. So you can see now this is obviously a dramatic improvement from having an accidental 14 zombies appear in your game to here's exactly 1 zombie, please. Here's exactly 3 zombies, please. Exactly. All right, so there we go. That's why it's done this way now, and we can actually take a look at it, because you might be surprised in the game, or might not be surprised, I suppose, in the game. It is messy. So the green line, this is your game timer here, basically, and we'll take a look at that. This is your zombie counter. Every time this line pulses, anywhere in the map a zombie is attempted to dispense. There might be empty dispensing stations. Actually, there are generally always empty dispensing stations. So this part of the map isn't loaded for 10 minutes. So every time this pulses, it sends a minecart up and then destroys it. It goes back into the pile because there's nothing in there. It tries to go up to collect the zombie. There's no zombie here, so it hits the cactus and immediately goes back into the container for the dispenser, right? So we'll look at the game timer and stuff like this now. I'm actually raging that I'm showing this off now, because I was watching Ethos episode on Hermitcraft, and he was talking about the Frogger game timer speeding up, and I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh my God, that's so clever" on Reddit and everything, and I was like, "Oh, I made that 18 months ago, and I never showcased it, and now everybody's gonna think it's an Ethos." But yeah, no, Ethos one is actually tidy. Mine is a mess. Well, we'll take a look at that in a second. But where you see this lime green here, this is deciding how many zombies should be dispensed into the game. And a hopper minecart will come out here. It'll go up this ramp. There's nothing here, so it goes boom, cactus, and then back into the thing to be dispensed again. If there is a zombie here, it goes up here, collects the zombie. Now, obviously, it can't go this way because there's a zombie in it. So it comes back down. As it comes back down the track, comes out and around. And when you cross over, let's see here, when you cross over this button right here, what are they called? Activator rails. When you go over this activator rail right here, what you do is you trigger this. I probably would have done these with copper bulbs if they were out when this game was made, just in case anybody's wondering again why it was done this way. Doing it back now, I would do it with copper bulbs. So if this is powered, the track turns. So basically, excuse me, over this side, if we go this way, you can see here there's another one. So if you send a minecart this way, what's going to happen is it'll change the track so that the next cart goes this way, and then the next cart goes this way, and then what happens? Well, this guy changes the track this way so that the next zombie goes this way, and this is set up kind of like there's a lot of thought put into where zombies go and that sort of thing. So there's more zombies dispensed into the main hall, a disproportionate amount, almost 50% more, go into the main hallway, because that's where the game starts off. That's where the main action of the game is. You spend most of your time in this room, or at least you should be. The shops are here. There's 2 dispensing stations. There's secrets. There's loops that you can do, because the idea is that you would keep moving throughout the game. You're not supposed to stop and fight. You will be overwhelmed. You want to you want to kill some zombies, fall back, kill some zombies, fall back. A lot of the game involves walking backwards as well, and trying to check your back as well while you're doing it. And yeah, so your zombies fall in there. They get dispensed. Some go up here, and again, there's a yes/no up here. If you go this way and you come up this road here, you'll see here there's another switch. This says, okay, change the direction. Where's that redstone? Oh, okay. This goes, I'm just going to put on shaders for 2 seconds so that brightens up a bit so you can see. So that comes down here, and that turns on this, which changes this, and that changes the path of our redstone again, and then this would change this way, and this would change this way, and so on and so forth. So this determines, and then they meet up again, by the way, because they'll get dispensed off at different sections. This was a godsend. This kept happening, where a minecart would be left over in the thing, and you know what? There was no consequence. Luckily, because of the way that I made the rails, there were absolutely 0 consequences for the minecarts being left over. The zombie in the next minecart would shove this one. This gets sent around to the reset station, and the zombie sits here for a second, and then when the next zombie arrives, he pushes him in. If 2 or 3 build up, they get sent back along the way. They reset themselves, and they either end up getting dispensed or they end up in lava. And I don't want to claim like I master planned all this out. It just worked accidentally the way that I made it, and I couldn't be happier because it was probably one of the make or break moments in making this game that if it just didn't work, I may have given up. Very genuinely, there were a couple of moments where I'm like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. So yeah, now the zombies have been dispensed. You're collecting flesh. What's happening next? Let's actually look at the game in action, right? In the game actually working here. So there's a lot of redstone in here that we kind of have to consider. This is just the haste beacon. Some of the guys were decorating and they kept breaking stuff like crazy because efficiency 5 with haste beacon on, so you can turn on or off the haste beacon with this here. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Crazy redstone. It's literally just a line running off. So I told you about, I guess about 20 minutes ago. Said about 20 minutes ago that reward system was just not working the way Redstone is supposed to work. So this was all here. It's missing now. This big kind of gap that's missing from the thing. That was where the old reward system sat, and then I super simplified it down to you get experience points. So this is the max amount of experience that you can get in any one game. I don't know why it's this number anymore. I decided this probably a year ago. And then it goes into here. And if the game is off, these items are spat back out into here, and then they send a signal down to our reward system. So let's take a look at maybe no, let's not look at rewards right now. Let's look at the actual game implementation. So when you turn the game on, we saw how the bonuses and everything work, right? That you insert your player card first. So let's take a look at that. So you put in your player card, and we'll put in a tank card here as well. So when the game turns on, your player card is actually what determines the game difficulty as well. So if you have 4 different players, you get 4 times the zombies, basically. Actually, you even get more than that because 4 players are more efficient than 4 individual players, because you can teamwork and you can work together and you can cover each other and stuff like that. So it actually gets exponentially more difficult, I guess. Is that the right word? Yeah, so in here, when you put in your player card, let's go down to player card. So it's the only one that's not in shiny dye. I don't know why. Hey, there's a little jingle for you, a little rhyme. So that comes down here, and we follow the brown line. You'll see that there's no beacon effect actually for the player card. The reason this is here, by the way, was because very stupidly, I originally put the player card down here. But you may notice that it's at the very, 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 very end of all the redstone. So the card that every single player was always going to play took the longest to process. So it got removed from here and it got put into the very first slot, which I just built into the side of this device and kind of shifted the redstone over a little bit to squeeze it in. And you can see there's no beacon on this one for this particular design. For the player card, and then it has its own brown line run off. So if you come in, and actually you'll also see as well, it doesn't use the on-off switch that I had here. With the on-off switch that I had previously, this was the reset line and everything. There's no reset line required because we do actually want to count all of the players this time. Previously, I only wanted one person using a tank. I didn't want everybody using a tank. So I put this in here. You can use it once, and once it's used once, you cannot use it again. Well, with this, you can use as many as you like. Well, actually 4 max. But you come down here, and your brown line goes over to here, and this goes up to... Oh, I shouldn't have done that. That was a bit risque, actually. I'm just going to walk around. Yeah, geez, that was very risky. I don't think I put any redstone on deep slate, but just to be sure, like I probably shouldn't have done it that way. And what happens here is when you put in the player card, firstly, I've put instructions on the thing to leave a bit of time until you hear the ding, and that allows things to process. There's just like maybe 15 seconds before you put in the next item. But what happens here is for each player, they're actually oh, I think, yeah, okay, so there's extra items in here because stuff was getting caught in the hoppers for some reason. Now, this is obviously empty, but previously stuff was getting caught in hoppers. So what's happening here is Oh god, the auto crafter would have made this so much smaller actually as well. So what's happening with this design right here is that when you put in a player card, this block gets triggered, right? It spits a wooden spoon. What are they called? Shovel. Spits a wooden shovel up, and that would go around. But red line. What did I say? If you see the red line, that means the power. So when the game power is on, and you put in a player card, one player card gets stuck in here, one spoon gets stuck in here, right? And that sends the signal off to a few places. So let's see what actually happens when we do that. I'm going to turn on the game. Excuse me. I'm going to turn on the game here, and I'm going to, in the bookshelf, put on one player card. And yeah, that's actually enough. We'll wait right there and we'll put in the one player card, right? So now this is locked, right? As we saw, that was the power on, which is locking this hopper so the items can't go back in here. You can see there's a wooden spoon missing because it's up here. Now, what did that do? That has enabled rewards for one player. That's what that's doing right here. So this is saying when the game is over, this person in first place can win some rewards based on this, right? If you were to put in another player card, the signal would be strong enough to reach this one right here, and then you'd receive rewards for player 2. This one here is player 3, and this one here is player 4, and so on and so forth. So when we look in here, excuse me, when we look at this here, if there is one player that comes into here, and it goes down along here, and it goes into this line right here, which enables, what did we say earlier? The green line is the zombies being dispensed. This is the game timer, so this goes over to your zombie dispenser, and it decides. So you can see here, the more yellows you have, the more zombies you have, right? So the more player cards you insert, the more zombies that you can get. So the more yellow, the more player cards, the more zombies. So if I were to put another player card in here, let's take a look at that. So we can see here now that the strength of 2 shovels has gone through here. These are just subtracting, by the way, to keep the signal 1. I think there's just, yeah, a redstone output of 2 here to subtract 2 from 2, or 3 from... That's 4 minus... Yeah, I guess it must be 3. I guess, whatever. Yeah, sure, okay. And yeah, you can see now... Oh, look! It's happening. So the redstone signal tried to come through, or sorry, not tried to. The game ticked around, and the signal came up here, and it went, oh, I can get through here, so it sent it, and it went, oh, I can get through here, so it sent it. And that way you get double the zombies that you got before, and then for each one of these that you add, you get more and more zombies. So let's actually wait for, well, maybe let's not wait. How long is it? Yeah, so there's your bell, and here we go. Here's your first zombie. There's your first zombie. There's your second zombie. Now, I say first and second. This is an observer looking at a redstone signal, so it's actually many more than that. It's maybe 4, I guess. I can't remember exactly. With this delay as well, it'll trigger it again a little bit more. But yeah, basically you can see here that's there's 2 zombies going off, so this sends out. Sorry, there's 2 player cards inserted, so that's sending off 2 sets of zombies. So if you wanted to have a game, an element in your game that got more difficult, if something happened, then you could do it this way that you see here. So here we go. Here's zombie 1. Here's zombie 2, and the signals are just far enough apart that they don't interfere with each other. And let's take a look in here. Here's your zombies. Right, and now they're being dispensed, and you can hear the coming from these guys because I put the note block there, obviously, and each time this gets triggered, it sends off the signal and then dispenses. Let's actually watch a minecart get dispensed. Where's the closest station? That's the bell. So the bell is to let you know that the next round of zombies has been added. The signal's coming through now in just a second. And what we'll see is, boom, minecart number 1, minecart number 2, minecart number 3. Ooh, 4, 5. Wow. So yeah, 5 zombies dispensed for 2 players. And they are sent randomly all over the first room of the map. I keep bumping into things, so I'm just gonna go into free cam. They will get dispensed off. There are a couple of stations. There's one over here that we saw. There's one behind the shop that we saw. So when you have your back turned at the shop, they're gonna pop up behind you. That was one of my favorite mean things to do. There's the one down here as well. This station right here, which would drop them off, and I think that's it for the first room. There's 3, maybe. Yeah, and that sends 5 zombies to 3 different locations in the first section of the map. Where are we next? So we've just seen what happens with the player cards. So you add more player cards, you get more zombies, and that's how that bit works, I guess. We've covered adding in those. We'll talk about rewards at the end of the game, I suppose. And then this. Oh yeah, this is the design. This is the main game clock, and it's just such a mess, unfortunately. But it was because I kind of this I think I made actually in survival while I was just trying to figure out like in the game, and it just worked. So I was like, I'm not going to change this. But this is a hopper clock right here. So a typical hopper clock. If you ignored this hopper here and this hopper here, you are looking at an Etho hopper clock right here, perfectly normal, right? The difference is that there's an input hopper here going into this one. Right, so this is an input, and this is an output. See, we're adding and removing items from an Etho hopper clock here. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, that's okay. Sorry, I thought everything paused on screen. That's fine. We're still viewing things. That's great. Mild panic over. So each time this ticks down, each time this thing moves in front of this guy's face, what happens is it unlocks for enough time to gain 1 item in here, right? So let's take a look at that. It's not going to be very exciting to pause and wait for this, I suppose. Ah, that's bad timing. Come on, please. 3, 2. Oh, no way. Hey, and you can see. Oh, actually, it gave 2 items. Dun dun dun. So yeah, that unlocked for enough ticks to put 2 items in there, and that has started to speed up the clock a little bit, basically, and they get stuck in here, and then when the game is over, they'll get put into here, and then they'll get pushed back up and placed back in the hopper clock, ready for the game to restart itself. So basically, here's the red line here again. You can see the red line. Oh, right. I couldn't see those torches there, and I was like, oh, God, this isn't going to work. It does work, obviously. So you can see here that it goes up. This powers this torch on. This powers this torch off, whatever, blah, 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 into here. And if this is locked, or if this is on, sorry, it will remove items, and then when it's off, it'll send all the items back up. So you've got a game timer that gets faster and faster. Why do you want it to go faster and faster? Well, we want the zombie dispensing times to get shorter and shorter. So the amount of zombies dispensed per round is set. Here it is again. There they go. And there they go. And we'll just enter in. I'm going to put 2 more player cards in so you can see that working in full swing. Oops. Oh, that was a player card, yep. Ooh, controversial. What happened there? Hmm. We're not going to start having issues now, are we? What's this about? So why would that work? Did I break something? Why would that work on the first two examples and then not work on the last one? I must have broken something. Dang it. Oh, I think it was the wrong type of book. Yeah, it seems to be something wrong with the book, right? Because it worked that time when I put a different book in. Okay, so for whatever reason, those books aren't working. This won't happen to you in survival anyway. And I suppose I want this redstone stuff to be like reusable for other people's games as well. So please, uh, don't pay too much heed to that. So let's put it in the fourth book, fourth book anyway. And here you go. You just saw that switch off. That means player 4 can now win rewards. We'll talk about that in just a second. But you can see the game clock running down here now. And oh, here. There you go. There's the first one. There's the second one. There's the third one. And there's the fourth one. So you got 4 players. A lot more zombies coming out. This is just a delayed pattern so that the minecarts don't bump into each other. Basically, you can say, dispense me 60 zombies, and it'll attempt to dispense you 60 minecarts, and they will never bump into each other. And that's the main thing. So you might have, here's some zombies coming out. Let's see if they get into the tube fast enough. The main thing was that I needed them to never ever bump into each other. So this delay circuit that you see right here, see them flying around? Now we've used up all the zombies in the tube, so it doesn't matter. You'll actually never have 60 in there, but you can see, let's take a look at this here. It's just firing off. And if you're wondering what this, like I said, this delay is, now this will have to be different for you if you're making this yourself. This delay is the perfect amount to make sure that no matter what, the minecarts do not ever bump into each other and kind of mess up the flow a little bit. So I've kind of compensated for it. You can see a floating skeleton head there from an armor stand. I've obviously lost. Let's see, is there still another one? There we go. He's captured and taken away. He's captured and taken away. And they're dropped off into the game map for us. And yeah, that's how the zombies are dispensed to you. It's a combination of a bunch of different things. It is your game clock counting down and getting faster, losing an item every rotation that gets stored here. You turn off the game and this unlocks and they all go back in and they get reset back into the thing, and that's the main thing. You want to make it self-resetting. That's like the most important part of it, is that it needs to self-reset. So that happens in here. I'm not sure what's in here. Oh yeah. So I was tweaking the game time for a long time based on player feedback and stuff. So basically all of my original figures were totally wrong, and I ended up doing it this way. Where I would just like take people's feedback on games and stuff, and we would play a bunch of games and go, well, was that easy? Was that hard? Was that ridiculous? Sometimes it's like crazy trying to actually play it, so I reduced it down. Then what do we have? We got we talked about RexxStone Shops. We talked about the bamboo dispensers. The doors, they are also just an item filter that have been told to require 23 items. I honestly can't remember Jeez, I honestly can't remember how I figured this out. Oh yeah. It doesn't use the same thing as Rex's does, where he counts down the items. So you put in the flesh in here, and each time the signal goes into here, we allow another item into another fill, into another hopper to be filled up. I think it's here. Yeah. So every time you enter a piece of flesh into this thing here, it adds iron nugget to, yeah, it adds an iron nugget to this thing here. And when the signal gets strong enough to reach here, as in when it's sufficiently full, which is supposed to be 25 pieces, but it doesn't work, it unlocks the door here, and you've gone into the next section. And then also, as a reward for the player, there's a torch burnout clock here as well. So when you actually open the door, let's break it and see. So you get like 6 items spat out to you, and then it gets locked again by the redstone turning on and off. So the zombie flesh goes in here from the door, and then the same amount of iron nuggets are released and then into here, and this is the reset station. So this detects the items going into the dropper here, and then sends them back up into the barrel to be used in the next round. So if I put 27 in there, we can see that this starts getting a signal, right? It's counting up, so it's using the flesh to dispense items. And then once it reaches 24 or 25 or 23, it's supposed to be 25 because I put a delay on the thing, but I don't know why it doesn't work. And so yeah, you can see there's 27 in here now. And when I turn off the game, which I'm going to simulate by breaking this red line, it's a torch in this case. So if I break this powered on line, you can see the doors closing, and it's resetting itself, and it's putting all 23 items back into the barrel. I think originally these doors were going to be like 60 or something like that, and that was crazy. So yeah, I turned it off. So we're back on, game back on again, and it'll store those items. If I put 20 or 15 in here, it'll save those 15 in the game, and you can come back and top it up with 10 more to actually open the door whenever you have the flesh to do it. So there's 14 in there, put 10 more in, and the door will open for you. So this is a really messy, I don't think these are in my creative world, so I have to show them off here. I can't show them off properly. But yeah, this is what it looks like. This was for when it was going to be more expensive. You don't actually need this thing here. This was supposed to be in subtract mode for when the signal was subtracted from it, but we're not doing that anymore. And then again, for the reward on... The reward for opening the door uses a torch burnout, so there's dust on top and the torch on the side, so it goes blah 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 and fires off. Very, very, very cheap way to do something like 5 or I think it's 6 times. And that's how you open basically every door on the thing. So that opens all the doors for you. What was this again? Oh, putting the witch in, yeah. So... what else is there? Oh, there's the pressure plates. Yeah, one of my favorite mean designs. Let's go in here. And I'm just going to put on shaders so we can see this again. So here is the pressure plate design. And these were... Again, I've mentioned a couple of times that I've put a lot of time into catching the player's eye line. Like when you look through this door, you see this diamond block like right in front of you, which I'm very happy about. It was done specifically to make you go like, oh, there's another point. So we'll talk about experience points now as well in a second, how you earn a point. But this is one of the ways that you do it. You can see a few diamond blocks here. We saw a few. There was another one here. You'll score a point for these. This is incredibly simple when you stand on the pressure plate. I'm just going to stand here, and then we can use free cam. When you stand on the pressure plate, you tell the hopper clock to start running. It slowly fills up with items. The first stack of items is the fastest. The second stack is the second fastest, and then it just gets slower from then. So the time for to unlock this top light here is longer than all of the other lights put together. It's an illusion to kind of add to the tension of the thing not updating when it should or when you expect it to. And then when you finally get it, it shoots out like one pork chop or one whatever. It's just a little bonus to keep you going, a little something. That was actually Letifer's suggestion as well, to add a little something to reward the player for unlocking the point within the actual game. And then unlocking actual points is, I think it was the light blue line, is it? Let's take a look. Where's the light blue line for this one? It is the light blue line. So yeah, I can recognize the mess of wool and redstone over here. So the light blue line, every time you do something that has a diamond on it, like open this door right here, you get a point. You get 1 experience point. Now there's a chance for that experience point to be 2 experience points. Every time you score a point, there's a chance for you to win a bonus extra point. So there's always a chance for you to double up every time you score. And yeah, anywhere where you see a light blue line is an opportunity where you could win an experience point. So this is what are they called? Monostable. It's a monostable thing, so it just sends a single pulse to it. Comes up to here. Turns on, comes in here. Yeah, this is your chance to win a second one. So this is your 50-50. Oh, I lied. Sorry. It's a 33% chance to win a bonus experience point as well. So the signal would come up here. A signal would come into here, sorry, goes into here for your 50-50. That'll happen second. And it'll come along and put 1 point into this dropper that we saw about 20-30 minutes ago. And that goes off to your game rewards section at the end. And again, that's just literally, it's like just sending a signal to the thing to say, hey, put 1 point in there, please. Sorry, stopping for a drink. My throat is starting to get a bit sore, so I might stop soon. I was hoping to get this all done in one go, but maybe not. And there's plates all over the place, and oh yeah, this never came to fruition in the end, actually. So yeah, there were there's those lines all over the place. There's places obviously to score points, because that's the main thing that you're supposed to do in the game at the start. You have to score points to get experience points, to get those sunflowers, so that you can unlock things, so that you can actually play further into the game by unlocking more things and getting better power-ups and so on and so forth. So that's kind of like the key mechanic there, I suppose. And there's nothing too complicated there. Each one is different. Like the doors give you a point for one thing. This gray line here is just to make sure that both doors here have been opened. So this door only opens if both doors have been opened, and I think you get a bonus point when you open the second one here to kind of justify the fact that this costs 2. Here is the Pack-a-Punch. I actually kind of forgot to talk about this. So this is the Pack-a-Punch room where you can use the enchantments. I think this has maybe only been opened like 2 or 3 times ever. You do get experience for unlocking it. I think you get 2 points of experience for unlocking it. And if you use the lapis shop as well to buy a piece of lapis, you also get another point as well. So if you wanted to be crazy and throw it on the enchanter inside to get a level 1 enchantment, just say you get 2 iron ingots and you want to make an iron sword. You could put a level 1 enchantment on it, because you've probably got like 10 or 15 levels while you're running around here anyway. Why not? It was mostly for achievement hunters, for people who wanted to stay in the game for a good while. mess around. But yeah, that's it for the pack-a-punch, I guess. I'm not gonna. The redstone is a mess in here. The door. Here's the payment. Uh, oof. Yeah, look, it's the shop again, basically for the door to dispense the thing. It's just super crowded. Oh, sorry, here it is here. I wasn't even looking at the right thing. And it also turns off after a certain amount of time, so the door doesn't stay open forever. It stays open for like whatever amount of time this thing is. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's like it's a mess. I wouldn't recommend doing it this way. But basically, the wall goes down to let you in when you pay enough, and then after, let's say, 2 minutes, I guess the wall comes back up again to block you out. Here's another dispensing station. This is the mines. So this is a double spawner. Here it is again. I'll just go shaders so that you can see. Here's spawner number 1 here, and here it is just slightly offset up here. So they all go in here. Obviously, double zombies means double the rates. So there's no empty mine carts that are coming out when you're in this section for sure, because this tube will always have zombies in it ready to be dispensed with the 2 spawners ready to go. As soon as you cross this threshold here, the doors are all based on the distance of the spawners. So the locations of the doors are actually dependent on how close you are to a zombie spawner, and that's why they're set out this way. So this spawner stops, and this is where this spawner starts. So there's like maybe 1 block of crossover or whatever. So if you're standing here, you might be activating this one and this one. Same with right here. But for the most part, as soon as you step onto this wood here or this bit here, this has stopped and this has started. So you want to kind of avoid that, activating too many at once. What is next? We come up here. This is super duper simple. If you want to get into here, if you want to knock down this wall right here and get into the last plate, there is a secret, super secret, button in the well, so you can smack this. The reason I made it this way was because I wanted people to try and do trick shots where you try and jump and go, yeah, I got it. So you do a 360, you jump, land in the water, and you have to hit the note block as you do it. Oh, I placed down some torches instead. Yeah, it's the 360 no scope achievement to unlock that, and that's literally, it's like, again, it's just I would have used oh, here it is. I would have used, geez, I can't see that at all. Oh, here it is. I would have used copper bulbs if we had them, but it's this piston redstone block trick again that you can see right here. I'm actually gonna kill those zombies because they're pretty noisy. Type zombie. Yeah, so this again, power on. Red line means power on. This is what happens when the red light is on. That resets the door being locked, and then when you hit the no block with the no scope, that's what's in here. It comes along and it opens the door for you. It's just an on-off switch. It's really, yeah, it's literally, it's just an on-off switch. That's all it is. This display actually, so the 4 pressure plates are also connected up to the 4 lights here, which nobody ever needed and ever looked at, and I spent so much time on. I thought players were gonna need to know how many lights were lit up while they were playing, so that they would know which ones to have to go down and unlock and which plates and which whatever. It never happened. These all correspond to a location on the map, and if you turn on one of them, that particular light will turn on, and it was so unnecessary and absolutely not needed. But you can see the redstone for it here, basically. That once all 4 are turned off as well, it'll also play a dragon sound to let you know, roar, the lab has opened. You're ready for the next section of the game. And Yeah, cool. That might be all the way up to the lab. I feel like I'm missing something in here. I am. I'm missing a lot of something in here. If you're in the garden, there is a. I talked about this in the spoiler walkthrough in the last video. There is a skulk something here. Yeah, calibrated skulk sensor that is listening for the sound of a sheep being sheared. And if your sheep is sheared, it will again on off switch. It'll push the redstone block to extend this, and does Jeb door to push the use the Jeb door to push the god dang. I'm starting to lose my words here. To push the logs out of the way. So if I get a shears, ta-da! Right, it's cool. And then you can enter in. This is Letifer's area. Thank you very much again, Letifer, for all of your decorating. We had the idea to have pillagers behind this wall originally, and they would come out and shoot you, but their range is so bad, and they would shoot each other and stuff like that. And then I had them in individual cells, and then the players could hit them, and it was a disaster. So I opted for a vidge. And when you push the button on here, it's a synchronized button press. And it is a specific synchronized button press. You have 2 ticks of difference, and we would find that even like you were noticing like lag. When I was playing with some like of my American buddies, they would have to like do it like I would go on 2 and they would go on 0. Just so that we could match up the latencies and stuff like that. For each incorrect guess, sorry for toggling on and off between shaders, it's just for visibility. For each incorrect guess, the witch stays up for longer. So if I press this here, you see she's up for 1, 2, 3, 4, and she's back down. But if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I guess, thereabouts. So yeah, you can see that it adds more and more to the thing. And then if you get the 2 presses exactly together, obviously I can't do that because I'm by myself here. It'll turn on firstly. Ta-da! You want a point. That's what that does. Oh no, sorry. It's ta-da! You unlock jump boost in the map, which means that the jump boost beacon turns on. And you also get a point there as well. You get an experience point, but then you have jump boost, so you can access different places in the map. Like you can jump out here, for example, easily. So you've just got another route available to you. And then down here, there is a barrel. These are... It's just a loop. So there's a torch here, right? When the power is turned off, it powers this and goes up into the barrel and so on and so forth. This locks the hopper. God, the zombie sounds are quite annoying. It's the game sounds, right? So yeah, while this hopper is locked, this shoots an item up and it gets stuck in the barrel. And then when you turn the game off, it all falls back in here and out of the barrel. So in any game, you can walk in there and find an almost full iron sword. You could find a block of iron, which is crazy. What did the player this game get? They got 1 pork chop, which is still a good reward. A good meal in this game is pretty essential. Food is kind of like the driving factor for people, that you're going to run out of food eventually, which is healing, which is health, which is, that's it for you. There's a dead Letifer. Unfortunately, no, take my flesh. I'm not sure what he's trying to be gesturing there. I've left hints around the place as well, not redstone related, but there are like hint characters around the place. So to know that you should shear the sheep, you've got my buddy CMB there, holding a shears there just as a hint in one of the non-playable areas. So if you're observant while you're standing on this thing, you might notice like, oh, CMB, hey, look, he's got a shears. Oh, there's a sheep. Oh, maybe please don't harm the animals. You can come up here and get some eggs. And come back down and try and get into ZFC as I've called it. No copyright, no sponsorship. And what happens there? Again, another on-off switch. If the game restarts, it resets the switch. If you get the point, it opens the door. Really, really basic. I'm sure we're starting to see a lot of repetition here, where you can see if you get a chicken egg. I'm just gonna brighten this up a bit. So you're standing down here. I've left a feather here as a little hint. If you throw a chicken egg up here onto this pressure plate, it'll power the block, which will power the piston, which will unlock the door. Again, it's a Jeb door. You throw a chicken egg up here, it'll go toot toot, and it'll open up for you, and you'll be able to walk inside up to the ZFC, which is a chicken dispenser, and it just uses a comparator clock to stay, or a comparator delay to stay on for a little while. And when it does turn on, it pulses as quickly as possible with an observer clock, blah 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 blah, and then it stops because it removes. Here we go. Here's your on-off switch again, just reusing the same things over and over and over and over. So this on-off switch will then power itself, and what happens is this extended block here falls down, and you can't send the signal through anymore, so no zombies come out. So I'll actually just push that for you. Hopefully we'll be able to see it happen in time. No, and then I didn't press the thing. So yeah, you can see here now that this block dropped. So if I tried to push the button again, the signal would get as far as here and stop. And then when I turn the game off and I turn it back on again, this block will be pushed back into position, and the block will be powered again, and I'll be ready to do the chicken. So it just means that you can only activate this particular piece of redstone once per game. That's it. So you open the ZFC, you get the chicken, you close it off, and this is, look, it's your classic chicken farm. Sorry, no explanation needed. I think with that, sorry, with how sore my throat is getting from all this talking, I am actually going to have to pause right here. I'd say I'm about halfway into explaining what all of this stuff is, or at least the useful stuff, you know. One of the core principles of the game, by the way, is that you're not supposed to break any blocks. I spent a lot of time making sure that you wouldn't have to place or break a block in the game in order to proceed. So you do break blocks, for example, in the lab. You use a TNT to destroy the floor here, and then you can fall down into the lab, and then at the end of the game that'll reset itself. Again, somebody's going to say, oh, you took that idea from Decked Out too. No, I have timestamps. I can prove that I did that first. Yeah, I thought of it before Tango. No. I'm sure he had the same thing in his mind. But yeah, it's so funny. I keep coming up with stuff, and then like 2 weeks later, I'll see like Green be like, oh, and did you know you could do this? I'm like, God dang it. I was a little too slow to talk about it. But yeah, you can see here, this actually should be closed. I'm about to get sidetracked. Yeah, we'll call it there for this particular one, and then I'll carry on with it, I suppose, another time whenever I get another opportunity to do this. And I suppose we've just got the rewards and the lab and the warden area and stuff like that to talk about afterwards. God, there's so many zombies. Let's see. Another 39 zombies in that amount of time. But yeah, that's really like the menu stuff. And when I mean the menu, I mean before you get into the game. I jokingly call this like, you know, the lobby or the menu. Well, it is actually a lobby before you go into the thing. So yeah, we could talk about the rewards and everything else the next time. But yeah, just wanted to get some of this covered. So yeah, I think I'm in free cam, so I can't do that. Whoa, we're inside my head, man. So yeah, I just want to say thanks. Oh, breaking blocks, no. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks NASA for hopping on it and listening and stuff like that. And for anybody who's watching, if you have any questions on this,
very happy to answer any queries that you may have. And hopefully, I'll come back to this next weekend when I have a bit more time and a throat that's not as scratchy as it is right now. So, thank you very much, and all the best, and take care, and bye bye, and see you soon.